Share screen. Okay, so this is the second example that we discussed yesterday, is it? And so if you take, so Bradley, if you take a look, let me do this. That may help you. Still, my program is kind of long, okay, I cannot. But if you take a general look, is it on my, oh, sorry, I'm not sure. Can you all see my screen? You can see my, no? Oh, maybe I forgot. Now can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so now let me explain, is it? So for some of you, if you already know, then it's just a review, okay? So over here, this is in NetBeans, okay? And it's free, you feel free to use other IDE, okay? And so this is our project. Is it? So in NetBeans, later I'm going to show, because right now I'm in annotation mode, I cannot do any app click. So this is the project, is it? In the project, we have this Java file. We only have this Java file, single Java file, is it? And this Java file will be compiled to generate the class called Java chapter 1 underscore array dot class file, is it? And you need this file for your application to work, is it? And again, and do clear all. So now let's see. And in C++, see, in C++, you just have main function, is it? And all sorts of functions. You don't have this part, is it? The public. So in Java, everything starts with some class. So some class. So something, is it? So everything will be inside a class, your app. Okay, your app. And then in our case, and I also explained the main method, is it? And the main method always be a public and a void method, but also it must be static. Okay, and if a method or a field, later I'm going to explain, okay, on Friday. So in this case, it's a method. This method defined as static. So if it's defined as static, so it's called a class method. And later on, we will also see there is another kind of method. We call it instance method. And the instance method, no static. No static. Class method has static. Okay, has static. So main method must be a static method in Java. Okay, and it must belong to some class. And why? Because the app going to be compiled to a data class file. Okay, that's how Java works. Okay. And in this example, all of our methods are class method. A class method. Because, so basically, even though it's defined a class for this chapter 1 underscore array, this is, so the purpose of this class is not for creating objects. Okay, that's not its purpose. Okay, I will clear this out. So what is an object? Is it, you remember the first example we discussed the scanner? Is it? scanner is a class. Is a class, is it? Then what we did is, what we can do is, you can do scanner. Suppose we call it scan var, then equals new scanner, is it, with system dot in, is it? So what this, so this as var is called an object of scanner, or we call it an instance of scanner. Okay, and then what do all of this mean? Is it? And over here it also called new, is it? So new is used to create this object, is it? So basically, I also explained. So this is a heap memory, is it? This is stack, runtime stack memory. Is it? So this as verb is in stack. So because it main is also in stack. Okay, but this object needs some space. So it's just like some room, is it? It needs some space. So certain bytes of memory, is it? Okay, then what is going to happen is so once you call new will allocate memory on heap, okay, on heap. And then this variable basically just a reference to this memory location. Okay, this is kind of just you give the classroom a name, is it? You refer, but the classroom is physically there, is it? And you can put something in the classroom, is it? So we can consider the classroom as an object. And this variable basically just the name of the classroom. So that's the, so this scanner is a class. But this scanner class is not like this char1 underscore array class. Even though if you take a look of Java source code, I will also show you, okay, the scanner is also defined as public class scanner. Okay, but with this scanner, you can do new scanner. Why? That's because you're going to use it to create some specific objects. Okay, specific object. And for this class, it contains our static main method. Generally speaking, you don't use it to create some objects. Okay, so that's, I'm not sure if I give you some idea about.
I think that's helping. Makes sense.
That makes sense? Okay, I
Yeah.
have a question probably. Don't have question. And then let me show you the scanner. Okay, hold on. I need to get this off. And let me show you Java official definition for the scanner. Okay, Java scanner. Java scanner. Let's go to here, and we use Java 8 and above. Okay, let's go back here and share screen. This time is this. And I also, but not at this point, okay, it's too early for you. But after we discuss some material from our class, and I strongly recommend you to do a frequent reference check with documents or oracle.com to find the detailed definition about Java interface, Java class, those definition, is it? And over here, over here, that class is a scanner class, is for standard input, not just for standard. If you take a look at this official website, is it? So you see, this is class, is it? So basically, Java, so this, it belongs to what? It belongs to Java that, it belongs to Java.utility package, is it? So basically that's, so in Java official package, it also has this public class scanner defined. And within it, it has some fields. Okay, and the methods. Okay, all sorts of. And that's why when we use it, you use this scanner. Is it? And you define that variable and new scanner. System.in. Is it? So you use this class. Is it? Create. So this new scanner is create and create a scanner instance. Okay, so this is one instance. Let's suppose in your program you may want to do something else. Then you can also do scanner SV2. Suppose like new scanner. Suppose this time it's some file related thing. You get input now instead of keyboard from file. That's also allowed. Okay. Then in this case, SV2 is another object. So that makes sense. So you can use the same class, but you create different objects. And basically, so far, I believe you also learned another class. We all use this a lot, string. And that string is also a class, okay? So if you do like string S1, and you do this hello, is it? So this S1 is also an object of string. Okay, it's an object of string, and basically, so in main, is it? In your main, you will have that string S1 equals hello, and then string S2 like word. Is it? So what really happens is, so this is a stack memory. That's the heap memory. Is it? So S1, S2. Is it? S1 to S2. And over here, this is some memory block. Is it? And this memory block is going to have a hello. And then another memory block is going to have a word. So those two will just reference to the corresponding memory block. Okay, so that's the idea about general usage for class. Okay, so this is scanner class. If you take a look, yeah, we already know this. Is it? Then you can get either integer, or you can also get long int. Is it? And over here it's some file. You can also read something from file. Is it? And if you take a look, scanner is also quite powerful. Is it can also take input from a string. Is it? You see, take a string. Basically, this the purpose of this is to do tokenization. Is it can get each individual subword out. Is it? So you see, it's quite quite powerful. Okay.
So
And
it looks at like the data type passed and picks the like an internal method and goes
pardon
from
me.
there. Oh, sorry, I was saying so scanner can look at like all the different types that come in,
Yeah.
and make a determination based off the type that comes in, kind of like all the constructors and such. Or there's just various constructors and sorts buried inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, I think I get it then. I'll have to dig a little bit deeper and
Yeah, and let me show you this example. Did I share screen with you all? Is my screen shared? No.
I think you just shut it off.
Okay, so now shared, is it? Okay, let's come back to this example, is it? Then in this example, like I explained, this initialize array, this is also a static method, is it? The static method, like I explained, it's a class method. So it doesn't belong to any object. So here, this class. Okay, and later on, we will also see, even for the scanner class, it can also have some static method. Then that static method doesn't belong to just any specific. So it's a shared thing by everyone can go ahead to use it. Or we can think about like a hallway, is it? So everyone can use hallway, is it? So it's shared, it's not belong to a specific instance object. Okay, so that's static. So all the method here. So far for our first lab, you don't need to worry. So all of the method you define it, please define it as a static method. Okay, so we just go ahead to use it. And then the second thing different from like C++ is, you see, in Java, when you declare an array, you put the square brackets in front of the array name. Is it? It's different. And also you cannot just do this, that's enough, is it? You also do new and the data type and the number of elements you want for this array to be held. So you need to do both of this. So this is one way you split, declare, and memory allocation, is it? You can also declare the array at the same time. You also allocate memory. So for Java array, only after you call new something, then you can go ahead to use it. Otherwise, you cannot. Because you remember like I drawed. So array needed to be associated. So in Java, is it, if you just declare like a B array, if you don't have this part, is it, it won't have any memory block associated with it. It doesn't have any memory block associated with it. How can you have like 1, 2, 3, 100, those numbers associated with? No, is it? So what the new does is to associate with this memory block. Okay, and then whatever you did is on this memory block. That's why I also said for this reverse method, the reverse method, it is a, let's see, it is the reverse method, the parameter is an array, is it? So the reverse, what the reverse is, it return some array, is it? And then reverse. is it? And it takes some array. Suppose I call it in array. In array, is it? So it takes some array as parameter, is it? And yesterday, like I explained, it's because the copy. So over here, I pass in that an array, is it? So then copy of this name, an array, is created, is it? And it's going to suppose it's, so an array point here. So that copy also pointed to here, is it? So it's pointed to here. That's why whatever you change it to negative 100. It will be reflected on this original. Okay. So this is still called pass by value. This is still called pass by. It's just Java array is object. It's object. Okay. So whatever you did within the function, it happens in this heap, memory block. That's why it's impact the original. Okay, so that's the idea about, because later on we're going to see a lot about the heap memory, okay, regarding objects. So that's the major thing here. And yeah, so that's what I explained, the difference between this swap int and the swap array. It won't. So if you just want to swap an integer array, it won't happen, is it? Not integer value, it won't happen. Or let me explain like this. How about let me do this? Suppose I have a function. I have a function public So I will add another function, public static void. Suppose I call it change value. Okay, I will have an integer x. So I don't care what your initial x is. I will just assign it to 100. Is it? So now in main, suppose I have an integer number equals 999. Is it? Then I call this change val. I pass in number. So anyone can answer me what a number, this num value going to be? Anyone knows? So if I do system.out, system.out.print line number, what do you think you will get? Anyone knows the answer? Yeah, very good. Still 100, still 999. Is it? You cannot change it. Is it? You cannot change it. This is because number is what? Is a primary data type. Okay, and this x is still passed by value. Passed by value, is it? So you cannot change the primary data type. Okay, you cannot change. But later on, if later on we will learn class. If it's a class, then it's going to be a different story. Okay, different story. But there is another thing. Suppose over here, I change, oh, I shouldn't remove everything. So let me write like the public static void change value, is it? And this time, if I change it to something like this, string s, I will assign string to symbol. Okay, then in main, I have string. Suppose I call it CS. I let it equal to CS. And then I call change value CS. Then what do you think? If I do system the print line, and then I output CS. So what do you think it will be? So the output will be symbol or will be CS? Okay, let's see. So you think it's going to change, is it? No. So that's a tricky part, yeah. But you got something correct, yeah. String is class, is it? And this is object. So in C++, then we don't have a lot of this kind of thing, okay? Just Bradley may know that, okay? But it's because in C++ we have the pass by reference, okay? So it's an object, is it? CS is, you think it should be changed, but it will not be changed. It will be still CS. The problem is in Java, string class, it has something, it's called immutable class. So it's immutable. So immutable, that means you cannot change it. Okay, so once it defines as this, it will be associated with this. How about let me explain like this. So the idea is this. So in stack, is it? We have that string CS. So this is that variable, is it? Then I have the hello. No, I define CS, is it? So it's referred to here, is it? Referred to here. Okay, so I have string CS equals CS. And then in that change function, so I will just skip a lot. Okay, so what the variable is called S assigned to symbol. Okay, so what happens over here? The S is still on stack, runtime stack, is it? Symbol will be here. Symbol is here, is it? So over here, what you pass in, is it? What you pass in is a copy of this. Copy of CS, is it? So the copy of CS, is it? Copy of CS will get what? So this guy will point to symbol, is it? This guy will point to symbol. But where CS will point to? It will point to CS, is it? It will point to CS. And this copy will point to symbol, is it? To symbol. And then let's see. if later on I do this, CS then equals good. Is it? So then what will this be happen? So good will need another memory block. Good, heap. Is it? So then the CS, that variable will point to good. Okay, point to good. Then this memory block just left there and no one reference it. So this guy is abandoned. And we call it a garbage. Garbage. Okay, and Java does garbage collection, is it? So garbage collection will take care of clean the memory. Okay, and then if you just think about it, suppose you have the loop, a forever loop. This is particularly interesting to cybersecurity, okay? And if in a loop you keep doing CS equals good, then what's going to happen? It's going to have infinite number of memory block need to be allocated. Is that possible? That's not possible, is it? But it won't hurt because Java is garbage can take care of that, is it? But this is not a good way to do design. And later on, we will explain this after we learn class. I will clear your concept. Someone, if we have, can we look into the second problem for closed lab? Okay, let's do that. First, let me get the lab assignment. So let me stop annotation. So someone would like to go over the closed lab. The closed lab, I need to first log into our course website. Hold on, okay, it's a little bit slow. The example, the closed lab. Then let me share screen with you all. Share screen. Where is that? This one. Okay, the second, our lab, the second part, here is a problem statement, is that, so this is just kind of some simulation, okay? So anyway, this postman will take care of mailbox number from 1 to 150, is it? And it will begin with the second mailbox. So over here, the purpose of this lab is to get familiar with array, is it, with one-dimensional array. So you need to have a mailbox array, is it? And you can declare it as a type of Boolean or integer. So it doesn't matter to me. So anyway, you want it to be easy to deal, is it? Suppose if it's suppose it's an integer, is it? So you can do integer then mailbox. Is it? You need to do new int because it has 150. So this should be in main. Okay, in main, you need to have this mailbox created. Is it created? And as to how we handle the mailbox, we will come back later. Is it? And then let's see what what's the next part? Okay, it asks you to, so over here we are trying to, we try to do modularized design. Modular design, is it? Modular design, so it first asks you to write a function to initialize all of the mailbox to closed, is it? So you need to, so basically over here, so you can define this class, this lab as public class C lab 1, is it? And over here, then you have that main method, is a public static void, that main method, is that? Okay, that main method. And over here, then you need to define another function called public. So it's just going to initialize. So static, it doesn't ask you to return anything. So you can have a return type as void, is it? So initial box, suppose I call it. And generally speaking, whenever you name a method, that method always start a verb because method is doing something, is it? And whenever you name variable a noun or a couple of noun together, is it? But with method, we always start with a verb. And Java also prefer camel cases. So you can use like the small case first with a verb. And then for every word, you capitalize the first letter, is it? And for this method, it's going to deal with a mailbox. And the mailbox you're going to pass in from main. So you need to have, suppose you just call it a box. Is it? So the method parameter is an array. And then, like I just explained, in main, you also need to have that array defined and create, is it? So suppose it's integer, then we just do new int 150, is it? 150. And then in main, you're going to call this initial box method, is it? And you're going to plug in who? Plug in this mailbox, is it? You're going to pass in the array that you defined in main. Okay, you define in main. And what this method going to do? You just do some assignment. Is that you use a for loop? Is it assign each individual one? Is it to some value 1 or 0 something? Is it? It depends on how you define open and close. Is it? So that's the first method you need to. Second method, the same thing. Is it? You need to write a static method, and that method will take a parameter, take an array as parameter, and then do something on that array, is it? And in main, you only have this single array, and you are going to keep, suppose the second method is called work box, is it? And it's still, and it's a void. Is it? And then in main, you after you call initial, then you can call work box. And then you pass in that mailboxes. Is it? That's the second. The third, the same thing. So just output. Is it? So this is called modular design. So you divide the 3 tasks, initialize the mailbox as one method, do something as a second method, and the third method is to output the result. Is it? And then in your main, you just need to create that array. Then you just call the 3 function. So that's the structure about this lab. Let's see, what's the question? Create a mailbox class? No, don't try to do that. We haven't learned mailbox class. We haven't learned class. So let's don't do that. So right now, what I would like you all to do is just like what I showed you, okay? Just like our class example, the chapter array example. And we have to submit Java file, is it? What do you mean? Where can you find the Java? Oh, hold on. Let me show you. And if you work with NetBeans, is it? It's in your project. Then it depends on where you create your project. So how about let me show you. So suppose we have, I need to create the first object, the first lab. So I start a new lab, as a new project, and you need to find where do you want to store, is it? So this part is very project location. I recommend you to do what? Normally what I would like to do, you see, I have a document folder as in Windows. Then I create a semester folder and then the class folder. Is it? Under the class, I also have different chapter. Is it? So chapter 1 is about array. So I'm going to go to here. Is it? Then you create a name for your for this is the first lab. Is it? I call close lab 1. Is it? Then finish. Okay, you see this file created. Is it? Did you see this file is created? C lab 1. Is it? So what over here, you just need to work on this Java file, is it? And also pay attention to the documentation, is it? And then the next question is, where do you find the file, is it? So, so then in my folder, I have, not this, it should be 4. I have this 4 folder, is it? Under the document, on the 4, I have the CS265 folder.
Excuse me?
We can only see the lab assignment.
What do you mean you cannot see the lab assignment?
No, we can only see the lab assignment. We can't see the...
Oh, you cannot.
You're still sharing Adobe Acrobat.
Oh, sorry. Hold on, okay. It's just, okay, hold on. Let me share screen again. I need to find now how about let me do this, share screen. Share screen. But now what I need to do, let me try this, okay. Share screen. So now did you see my Explorer?
Yes.
Windows Explorer, is that you see it? Okay, I have this chapter 1. Is it? I just create that close lab 1 folder, is it? Under that, you should be able to find SRC. Under SRC, you have the project, and did you see the .java file? So this is how you find your .java file. So once you find the .java file, then you can submit it. That makes sense?
So you'd like us to submit the Java files?
Yeah,
The
you
assignment?
just pardon me?
You just want us to submit the Java files when we're submitting the assignment?
Yeah, when you submit, you need to submit the Java file as well as the running result. Let's see.
Like a screenshot?
Yeah, screenshot. Yeah. You can post the screenshot like in a Word document or something, then just submit it. And here is another question. Yeah, of course. You go ahead, use Boolean array. Okay, I just make up, use int. Okay, so definitely for the lab, Boolean array probably is preferable because we only have two states. Is it open and close? Okay. And of course, if you want to use int, that's fine with me. Okay. But Boolean is preferable because mailbox over here just has two states. And so don't create a mailbox class. Don't do that. Okay, just like what I just show you. And there's another question. So each method is going to call initial. No. I'm sorry. Yeah, this question is correct. So each method is going to call that mailbox. Yeah, the mailbox array you created in main. Be careful here. Let me, are you also seeing my screen?
Not at the moment.
Nope.
No screen? Okay, then let me share screen again. Okay, so just be very careful, okay, in main. So over here, in your main, is it, you need to have, suppose we use Boolean, okay, this time, Boolean mailboxes. Then you need to new Boolean, is it 150, is it? So this mailboxes, its scope is in main, method. So basically only main can see it, okay? And in our work on boxes method is void, is it? In that method, we have that Boolean then array, is it? We call it boxes. In this method, you need to work everything on the boxes. So suppose you have some for loop, is it? Then the boxes sub I, you can assign it to true or false, is it? So over here, you work on boxes. Okay, work on this parameter. You cannot see mailboxes, is it? But then over here, you call work on boxes. You need to pass in mailbox. Be careful, you need to pass in mailbox. Okay, this is argument. You need to plug in argument. So you need to plug in arguments when you call, method. And the arguments must be defined in main in these cases. That makes sense? The mailbox array not visible in work on box method. Mailbox only visible in main. That makes sense? So here, before you like to rewrite Yeah, then you need to write it just to a single class, no other class. Okay, we need to get used to this concept. Did I answer your question, Connor?
Yeah, I mean, that was just like the first solution my mind jumped to. And
Yeah,
since we
yeah,
learned
just
it last year in CS1. But yeah, I can rewrite it without the class.
Yeah, let's just get used to this kind of mind thinking, okay? Then later on, after we learn classes, then we will do different thing, okay? Any more questions? Did everyone
Yes.
send your name to the chat? If you haven't, can you send your name to the chat? Because I need just to do my routine attendance report, but it won't hurt your grade, okay? So don't worry, but you just send it to the chat your name.